my knees shaking on my thigh. Post me a pic, finna make me a profit. When the liquor hit, then the get toxic.
Hi, Kira.
Hi, Olivia.
How you doing?
I'm doing marvelous. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm pumped to chat today. Welcome, everyone, to the Madwoman podcast. This is episode number 2, and today we are talking about a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. It's all about tapping into your feminine energy, okay? Are you excited?
Nice.
Yeah. So me and Kira both have 3 tips each. Roughly, we'll probably go on a million tangents in between, but 3 tips each to kind of guide ourselves and you listeners through how to tap into your feminine energy a little bit more. And it's a topic that is really near and dear to my heart because I personally feel like I have a lot of masculine energy within me as a woman, and starting Madhouse and bringing dance into my life more consistently has definitely allowed me to tap into feminine energy a lot more through dance. And even if you're not a dancer or if this is something brand new to you, you can tap into your feminine energy in more ways than just dance. But yeah, it's been a beautiful journey for me over the last few years of really like letting my feminine sensual energy come through. This world is very masculine dominant, right? Like you succeed in this world by go, do, achieve. And these are all very masculine tendencies and behaviors, and it's great. We all have masculine energy within us. We all have feminine energy within us. So that's disclaimer number 1, is that everyone has a different balance and a different mix of these 2 types of energy. It's not specifically bound to one gender or anything like that. Today, we are going to just be talking about our experience as women with our balance of masculine and feminine energy. So, like I said, we're living in a very masculine dominated world. We often don't take the time to slow things down, make things juicy, let our intuition guide us. Like these are all things that the feminine energy can help us do. And as women in today's world, I think it's just like super valuable if we can tap into that as well as our masculine side that we've been trained to do, like go to the workplace, show up 9 to 5, like lead, and you know, all these like just like super intense things that are super important to get by and succeed in this world that we live in. But if we can also bring in the softness of the feminine side into what we do, I think it's really special. And I try to take that into every day leading my own business, like going with my gut on things. Like I feel like you don't often hear like men in business be like, I don't know, I was just feeling it.
I trusted my intuition.
I trusted my gut, you know, like I feel like I just like really listen for what my body tells me to do and all these things that are just so in me because I feel so in tune with that side of me. So that was a very long-winded way of saying I think this is a super important topic. I think we all can benefit from it, whether or not you consider yourself more masculine, more feminine, or if you want to just find like a better balance of the 2. I think it's a really cool opportunity as well to have a sort of toolbox to be like, in certain situations, I can pull on this masculine side of me and this masculine energy when I need it. And then on the flip side, when I need to pull from the feminine side, I have both and I know how to tap into both. So like, for example, you need that masculine energy at work. Maybe you come home to either yourself, a significant other, whatever, and that's your time to pull out that feminine energy. And it's useful to have some tools to sort of tap into that so that you're not just like jarring yourself back and forth. Like you can give yourself a moment to feel sensual and feel feminine and all that stuff.
Of course.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You agree?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so we'll get into my tip first if you're down, even though I've been talking now for a minute.
Okay. You can talk forever. I'll listen to you.
I love it. Well, I know you're going to like this one. So my first tip is dance in the mirror, baby.
Yes.
Ooh. Obviously, we do this. This is our career, okay? We're literally paid and you guys pay us, right, to dance in the mirror for you. But aside from just Madhouse, I dance in my own mirror at home. I dance literally pretty much every day. All the time.
Every time I put on an outfit.
Yes. Oh my gosh. What did I say this last episode? I always, like, whenever I put on an outfit, I know it's the one that I need to wear when I start dancing in it because it's just an expression of my truest joy. And like for us, we've obviously been dancing for a while now. It is an expression of our truest joy. And some people might not be there yet, right? Like you might get a little bit uncomfortable at the thought of dancing by yourself, looking at yourself in the mirror. Like,
but it's just you, so who cares?
It's just you, so who cares? I agree with that, but I also think that that's really easy for us to say, right?
is.
Like I look at, for example, the comments on the TikTok, on our TikTok of like all the videos. So many people are like, God, I wish I could do this, but like I get so awkward. And I'm like, really? You're just like by yourself in your room. So I think step number 1 is get comfortable with yourself, right? Like dancing in the mirror doesn't need to be like full. For those of you that aren't watching, I'm just like crumping right now. But you don't need to go balls to the wall right off the bat, right? Like step 1, you know what? Let's start really, even without the dancing. Step 1, just looking at yourself in the mirror, and start with affirmations. Like that is going to be the sort of bridge to get you to dancing in the mirror, right? So if you can just look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am beautiful, while you're looking yourself in the eyes, or even, actually, I think the way I do affirmations and the way I used to do them when I was getting comfortable with this is saying, you are beautiful. So I'm looking at myself and I'm saying, you are beautiful, you are hot, you are sexy, whatever. You are powerful, you are strong, you are confident, whatever it is that you feel like you need to believe about yourself, start saying it. Because when you are looking yourself in the eyes in the mirror, that is going to start to become true for you on a subconscious level. Like your subconscious mind is going to receive that information, and it's not going to realize that you're just kind of faking it till you make it, saying it in the mirror, right? That's the point of affirmations. You're saying it and your mind will start to truly believe those things. So even if it doesn't feel real at first, it will start to become real. Do you agree?
I have something to say. I don't know if this won't be the case for everybody, but it might help some people. When a couple years ago, probably like 19, when I started doing affirmations in the mirror, saying physical things about me in the mirror was hard. I didn't have the confidence physically, but intellectually, emotionally, I could. Like I could stare in the mirror and be like, oh, I'm smart, I'm nice, I'm a good person, yada, yada. So if that could be the way for you, like it's hard for you to just stand up and be like, I'm pretty or I'm sexy, but you can say I'm nice or something. Start with affirmations that are emotional or intelligent and whatever the case, mental affirmations, and then lead those to physical ones in the same sitting. Don't like do one and then stop. Do it all together, but it can be easier to start with ones that you're more comfortable saying and talking about yourself in a way, because your personality is your personality and you're yourself. You can talk about your personality a lot easier than it is for some people to talk about how they look on the outside, which they don't have control over. So yeah, that's my tip.
I love that. No. I love that. That's genius. I think it's super smart to start with something small that is truly believable to you right now. And I totally resonate with what you said as well. The reason that I listed all those physical ones first is because that's what I was struggling with the most.
Yeah.
But yes, I would look at myself, zero hesitation, be like, I am nice, or you're nice. Like, I know that. I know these things. So I love that tip. Start with something believable, small, achievable, and then don't give up there. You got to push yourself. You got to keep going into the stuff that is really going to make the difference.
And that makes you uncomfortable. If it makes you uncomfortable to sit in the mirror and to stare at yourself, you're stuck with yourself forever. This can't make you uncomfortable. You got to work through it and get out of your comfort zone. And then at one day, it's going to feel amazing. And you're going to be like, oh, this is working. Like, oh my God, I can say all these things about me and I feel totally fine.
And I believe them. Yeah. Truly. I love that. And yes, getting out of your comfort zone, following your fear is going to be your best guide. We could do a whole episode on that. Like, following what makes you uncomfortable and using that as your guide in this life. Like, usually what you're afraid of is what you need to work on the most, right? Or the path that you need to take the most. And that's the easiest way to figure out what you should be doing in this world, baby. So step 1, if you are a little bit nervous or afraid to dance in the mirror, look at yourself in the mirror, give yourself affirmations in the mirror. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to do it. You're going to look at yourself in the mirror and do all those nice things. So back to my original tip. Start with those affirmations. Once you get comfortable with that, if you're already comfortable with that, you can move on to a little bit of light movement. We'll talk about this more later in this episode, but the hips is a really good place to start. If you can just swing your hips back and forth, put on a song that you like and start swinging your hips back and forth to the beat. You don't need to be a dancer to do this, okay? Just start moving those hips, start moving the shoulders. And remember, you are by yourself. Nobody's going to laugh at you. Why are you laughing at you? Why are you feeling awkward about
you? And even, I will also say this, give some mood lighting. Even though it's just yourself, it can make all the difference if you put on some good lighting, even like a salt rock lamp. Put some candles on. Yeah. Make it feel good for you and yourself, and just have good lighting instead of having crazy fluorescent lighting that makes you feel awful in the mirror and you stare at all your pores type of thing.
Oh, yes, definitely. I love that. Set mood lighting. That was actually in a subset of one of my tips for later, so we
We're
can dive
so
more on
similar.
that. We're so in line. But also, okay, yes to the mood lighting, but also this is something that I want people to do more regularly. So if that makes it feel like an event that you can't do or keep up with, like, oh God, I have to turn the lights off, and Kira said I had to light candles and all this shit. No, you don't
have to do that.
Look, I think
just
that's
make it
beautiful,
easier.
but this is something that really I think people should be doing daily. So if that is just an added thing to your schedule, your time packed, whatever, like all you need to do is put on one song as you're getting ready. You know, like you could literally be doing your makeup and start with this. Like it doesn't need to be an event. It just needs to be something that you work in, like brushing your teeth, right? Like I genuinely feel like it should be like that kind of step.
That's a great, when you're brushing your teeth, put the toothpaste on, look in the mirror. I'm pretty. Brush your teeth, 5 seconds, take it out. I'm smart. Keep going. Just do more.
Hot. I'm strong.
And then you're all done, and then you're
This is how I'm gonna brush my teeth tonight.
For the day.
And
then it'll get you to floss. It'll get you to use mouthwash. Good hygiene, okay?
Ooh, I love it. I love it. Okay, so once you're comfortable with that, a little bit of movement, I want you to really sort of start dancing a little bit more. Maybe add different types of songs depending on what you're trying to evoke, right? So like if I am going out with friends, I might play some like 2000s hip hop, some twerking music, some whatever the mood is that I'm trying to get. But if I'm like getting ready for a date, I might put on something like more slow and sensual. Or it doesn't even have to be a date. If I just want to be in my feminine, like dark feminine energy, like sensual power, I will channel that like sexual, sensual energy as if I were getting ready for a date to share that with someone else. But I'm not sharing it with someone else. It's only for myself, you know, and it's for me to walk into this world and feel magnetic and powerful and all those things. So depending
on
a
beautiful sentence.
Oh, thank you. Depending on what you need, you can pick. And guys, exciting news. I was writing this tip and I was like, I need to make a Spotify playlist for everyone. So I literally made a playlist called Dancing in the Mirror. We can like link it in the show notes of this podcast, and I'll post it on the Instagram and everything as well. Dancing in the Mirror, I'm Liv Kingston on Spotify, and they are going to be all my go-to songs. There's like some playful ones, there's some more slow sensual ones, there's some more upbeat like twerky ones. So you can kind of go through those, and they're just songs to make you feel like a sexy, bad, confident bitch.
Listening to that while I brush my teeth tonight.
Yes, and then do your affirmations in between. I love it. So that's my tip number one. And there's like a lot of, science to back up the somatics of movement and kind of working through your emotions in that way and building up your confidence in that way. So yeah, get into it.
Well, on the topic of receiving compliments from yourself, my tip is be okay receiving compliments from other people. As a lot of women usually, like say I complimented Olivia, or here, you compliment me. Tell me something.
Kira, your hair is stunningly long and luscious.
Oh my God. I slept so bad last night. Like, I can't believe you said that.
Instead of,
yeah, you kind of get the
No,
chance.
you're right. It's actually a bird's nest up there.
Instead of just saying, oh my God, thanks, Olivia. That was so sweet.
Yeah.
People try to disengage from the compliment and they try to just bad talk themselves. It's like our gut reaction to talk like that. Or someone says, oh, Kira, you look so pretty. And I'm like, oh my God, I have bags under my eyes. Oh my God, I need to get my nails done. Like whatever the case may be. But it's okay to just say thank you. Like you were given a compliment, receive it, take it in, enjoy the energy that came with it, say thank you and move on. You don't have to make it a whole negative experience. There's a lot of people who struggle receiving compliments as well as complimenting themselves. So it kind of goes hand in hand together.
I agree. I love it. It's about like sitting in the compliment, knowing that you deserve it. And this is going to be so hard for some people because so many people on a really honestly upsetting level genuinely don't believe they deserve compliments or don't deserve to say those nice things to themselves, don't deserve to have other people say it to them. So again, step one is believing it yourself. And then, it's so easy to just get uncomfortable and deflect and be like, oh no, I like your outfit, to just put it back on the other person, which is also just being, a nice person. But I think that when I give someone a compliment and they just say thank you and like accept it just gracefully, like obviously you don't need to be like, thank you, I know actually, you didn't need to tell me that.
You don't have to go be cocky.
No, but it's just like, thank you so much, oh my gosh, and being grateful and humble, but also
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And I think that goes into what the feminine energy is, just being relaxed and slow and not panicky or frantic, you know, like the more you can slow down your speech, which is hard for me and you probably, we're here talking like a million miles an hour, like, yeah, we're feminine. Not the snort. But I definitely make an effort to slow things down, because with slowness and with that juiciness that you can really tap into, I keep saying the word juicy, and I just want to like, to me, juiciness, like juicy feminine energy is just like slow, confident. How do you describe, like, do you know what I'm talking about? Like,
It's juicy though. Like
it's juicy. It's the best way to describe it. Like when you just like embody just pure confidence and radiance and like certainty about who you
magnetic
are.
energy too. I love when you said that
energy.
sentence earlier. That's what I commented on.
I love it. Yeah. So I think that magnetic energy is the perfect way to explain accepting a compliment. You know,
Yeah,
like you're just
exactly.
like, thank you. You know, I work really hard on building myself up and being who I am. And yes, people are going to notice that, and I'm going to receive those compliments. And I'm also going to compliment people, you know, when I notice something about them, I'm going to, so why should I not deserve the same thing, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. Great tip, Kira. Okay, so my second tip is move your hips and soften your belly. The reason I'm looking at Kira and being all funny with move your hips is that is literally our number one thing that we always talk about. So many people know at this point, I think I first learned it in like a yoga class, that your hips are really sort of just an emotional garbage can, right? Like they hold
a lot of trauma
and emotions and just like all these things. So, and I think especially in women, right?
Literally, you took the word. I was literally just going to say, especially for women.
Yes, definitely. And like think about, the woman's body and like just how important the hips are in our reproductive purpose and all these things. So our hips are definitely a super important part of our body. Okay, so start moving them. Again, hip circles. So that was my tip for like just starting in the mirror if you can, but you don't need to be in front of a mirror. You can move your hips at any time. Literally right before turning on this podcast and hitting record, I was sitting in my chair, like rolling my hips. It's something to me that is just so second nature now. And I'm doing it in this room because I know the two people in this room, right? Like I'm not just going to be sitting in the library or like anything, just like rolling my hips.
Getting down
and dirty.
I mean, you could if you want.
I could if I want, but I am aware that, you know, what we do is not fully accepted by everyone at this point. And you know, there's a time and a place. So, but to me, it's something that just helps me feel more grounded and more confident. So I use it a lot for confidence, but I think also just for like releasing emotions. We've already talked about how dance for us can either be a celebration of happy emotions or it can be a way to work through sad emotions. So definitely moving your hips and letting things go, stretching your hips, starting with that. And then the second part of that I added was soften your belly. So this is a tip that I had never thought about until a few years ago. Alexandra Roxo is like an amazing embodied women's leader, and she is on Instagram. So I definitely recommend that you guys go check her out. But I did an event. I was like a guest at an event, not a guest. I was an attendee at an event. I was not anything special at all. But she was there, and she was taking us through this exercise of breathing. And like, I feel like as women in this society, like the smaller you are, the better. The tighter your stomach is, the better. All these things. And she literally, at this event, had us unbutton our pants. Like we literally were
so
seated
magnificent.
back. It was incredible. She was just, first of all, just being in her presence, she's a goddess. But we were literally so I would like sit back in the chair, and she was like, unbutton that top button, baby girl. Like, so everyone's just unbuttoning their pants. We're taking deep breaths. We're letting our bellies fall out, right? Like even just now, I caught myself as I'm talking to you. I'm sitting up straight, which is like good, whatever. But like I'm sucking in my stomach a little bit. You know, I'm like, there's a camera here, there's a camera there, whatever. It's just so second nature. And to be like, let that belly go. Like just relax. It. Breathe into it. Take breaths that fill up your stomach and then your chest, and then out in the chest, out in the stomach. Like really tapping into that and softening. Like I said, this goes back into the juiciness. Like the softer you can make yourself, the better. So picture yourself, or right now if you're not driving or something, like lean back into your chair. Do it with me, Karen. lean back into your chair.
To undo.
I don't have a button to undo either, but that's because I'm wearing really loose pants already.
Got it one piece on.
Let it out. Relax it. Don't suck anything in. Take a deep breath in. And out. Another deep breath in. And out. And then, I don't know if you want to do this right now. I'm literally moving my hips right now as we're speaking. No, but that's an example of what I would do. Like I would just start moving my hips and just already I feel like an energy vibrating in me.
I also think I used to do a lot of breathing exercises. I mean, I still do them, but when I was really introduced to them was being a dance major in college. And SDSU's, I went to San Diego State, and their dance program is very experimental, and I've literally never learned more about my body than the 3 years that I spent in this program.
Do share.
It was so beautiful. But they're very, very big on starting us with breathing exercises. So when you do breathing exercises like what Olivia just guided us through, it wasn't fully stated, but one thing that we did is put your hand on your navel. And if you don't know, your navel is just the space underneath your belly button.
We were both doing that.
Yeah, and we did it automatically, but people don't always want to do that. But that's where... if you're a woman, you know, your reproductive system, everything's over there, but that's where you kind of focus on your breath coming from all the way down, bring it up and out when you're inhale and exhale. And a lot of times we talked about in class, whatever color your light is, a lot of people always just say white light, but sometimes white light means religious reasons. So whatever you want your light to be, you just picture a light and you take that coming into your body when you inhale and exhale, and you take it all the way through your body. Think about it coming from the top of your head all the way down into where your hips are, where you hold so much tension and emotions and trauma. If you have back pain, like whatever the case may be, all the way down to your toes and then all the way back out. And sometimes when people just sit with an inhale and an exhale, especially if you're new to doing breathing exercises, like your mind just doesn't shut up. That's how I was at first. And I'd be like, oh my God, why am I doing this? This doesn't make any sense. Like my brain's going a million miles an hour. How am I supposed to focus on my breath or inhale, whatever? So sometimes you think about a white light or putting your brain on something else that isn't necessarily your breath, but that white light causes you to inhale and exhale, and then you can kind of focus on the two instead of having your brain running a million miles an hour. That can help. And having your hand there gives your body that sense of touch that you can focus on.
I love that. I'm super impressed that you learned that in school. Like that feels very spiritual as well, almost.
I could rave about that dance program for so long.
That's amazing. And a great point to make, because as much as I can just sit here and tell you to inhale, exhale, if you're new to breath work, if you've never done any kind of meditation or anything like that, a visualization like that is super helpful. Also to go to other resources and start learning about how you can use your breath to sort of guide you, or how you can use meditation to tap into your body and make it feel good in all those ways. So yeah, that's actually another tip that I didn't even have, but I feel like meditation could be super helpful for people as well.
And also going back to moving, so when like freshman year of college, we walked into this dance class called Body Modalities, and she gave blankets to us, our professor, and we laid out on the floor and we did breathing exercises for the first probably like 30 minutes of class. And it's just a bunch of 18-year-old freshmen who are like, what the hell is going on? Like, we're dance majors. We're used to kicking our leg to our face and doing a million pirouettes. Then we came here and they're like, slow down. Like, it's okay to relax. And then from the breathing exercises, you know, some people would be like falling asleep until you kind of like catch on to it. And it's okay if you fall asleep too. It relaxes you. But then from there, they would tell us to move on the floor, whether it be, they'd always be like, hey, start moving your fingertips, or start little like twinkles of your toes, and then start moving your knees and your elbows, and then go to your head and your shoulders and the rest of your body until you're kind of rolling on the floor a little bit and you're still focusing on your breath. You're still focusing on that light. And then she guides us to stand up, and then we would always start doing chest rolls and head rolls and hip rolls and moving your body in circular motions. And then it would, all of a sudden we'd be fully dancing after we were just laying on the floor doing breath work, and our body is subconsciously paying attention to our breath work the rest of this entire time while she's guiding us through. It's just so beautiful. So you can really start anywhere from breathing, if you want to lay on the floor, if you want to sit like crisscross applesauce, like palms up, you know, classic like meditation pose, and have that guide you into your movement, whatever that movement means for you, even if it's just little hip sways in the mirror or I'm beautiful affirmations.
I love that. And okay, you talking about rolling around on the floor just gave me another idea for my move your hips tip. So one thing that I love doing as well, and this is especially if you want to tap into the more sensual side of bringing out that feminine energy. I mean, I feel like feminine energy is sensual in its nature, but you know, if we're talking more like you're trying to like, yeah, feel sensual, feel sexy, all that stuff, lay on your back on the floor, lift your hips up almost into like a bridge position and start rolling your hips in that position, or even just fully your back on the floor, rolling your hips there. I feel like it's inherently a little more sexual because you're like horizontal, right? And it feels a little more, more sexual in nature than just like standing up straight and rolling your hips, right? Because you're like on the floor, and add hands on your body. This is what we do like in our Red Room classes. Like my cool down song right now, I have everyone rolling onto their backs and doing hip thrusts in the air on our backs, closing our eyes, hands on the body, all that stuff. So if you don't want to stand up in the mirror, or if you want to just, I feel like it could be taking it to the next level for certain people that are more uncomfortable with this type, you know, with it being more sexual. But I think it also could be easier for some other people who maybe don't want to stare straight at themselves in the mirror doing it and would rather just be closing their eyes on their back, and maybe that comes more naturally. So find what works for you, right? But I really like the idea of, in addition to just moving your hips in a chair, like lay down, add other elements like your hands and all of that rolling around.
I have something to say.
We're just going off each other
so
now.
Another thing, okay, the sentence to start what this tangent is: be comfortable touching yourself, whatever that case means.
Yes.
For a lot of people, their automatic response to that means something sexually, but that does not need to be the case. When you are laying down and you're twinkling your fingers, like start doing a little like arm scratch or breathing, like I said, touching your navel. A lot of people are uncomfortable with their own bodies, and if they can't say, a lot of times they can't compliment themselves, they don't even want to touch their body for whatever that case may be. But in the long run, it's the only body you're going to get. So let's treat it nicely, treat it like a temple, all of it. And so when you're laying on the floor doing breath exercises, whatever that case may be, when I was in college, they would say the sentence of, it's okay to touch your body. And even like giving yourself a head scratch, like you love when someone does that to you. Obviously it doesn't feel the exact same when you do it to yourself, but just be okay touching your face and going down your chest, your stomach, your legs. Like we would shake out our thighs. You know, as dancers, a lot of tension is in our quads, you know, being in releve and ballet and everything, and they would just be like, shake out your thighs, like just let your skin jiggle and move, and then like your calves and like your arms, whatever it is. And it's important to touch yourself and be okay receiving touch from yourself, so that at some point you can receive anything from compliments to hugs from anybody else.
Love.
So yeah, be okay touching yourself.
Be okay touching yourself. I also love that you just said let your skin jiggle. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that has been another huge benefit of dancing in Madhouse to me, specifically like the celebration of like twerking and shaking and watching yourself shake, and that is celebrated, right? Like the
Yes.
more that your butt can shake, the better,
I
right?
love telling, like one of the first things I say, we're in the first like cardio songs, I'm like, let it jiggle, guys.
Let it
I start
jiggle.
twerking. I'm like, let's let your body move.
And that is so freeing because, again, going back to my point of like we're taught to keep it tight and keep it small
so
and all these things, and
toned
it's
and
like
tanned and
let it jiggle. Let me see it jiggle.
yes.
Yeah, but all of it, like I'll, you know, like no matter how I'm feeling about my body at a certain point in time, like when I'm getting up and teaching and looking at myself and like, you know, my butt shakes, which is great, but my stomach also shakes. And I'm like, that's part of it. Like if I want my butt to shake, my stomach's going to shake. My thighs are going to shake. My little calves are going to shake. Under my arms are going to like,
shake. Everything's
let
gonna
it,
shake.
let it shake. That's okay. You're a human. You have a human body. It's not gonna like, what would you look like if it was just all plastered and still, right? You wouldn't be human. Let
Barbie.
it shake.
You would be Barbie.
You would be Barbie. I still haven't seen that movie. I need to. I know. Maybe we should do a podcast episode of that once I see
have
it.
so much to talk about that movie.
I'm sure.
Okay, great. Yeah. Second bullet point, kind of a big umbrella with many different things that we can talk about in it. But tapping your feminine energy, I feel like a lot of it goes back to just self-care in general, whatever that means for you. If you like to journal, if you like to do affirmations like we talked about, if your version of self-care is putting on a nice outfit that makes you feel good, doesn't necessarily mean full makeup and hair and a dress. That could be what makes you feel good, but maybe it's a cute little athletic outfit and you go on a little hot girl walk, as they say, outside and just feel good about yourself, give yourself some sunshine, be outside, be with Mother Nature. So many different things that go into it. find what self-care works for you. It could be yoga, it could be dance like it is for us, it could be going on a bike ride, rollerblading, yada yada. The list goes on. But finding what works for you and your body will always help.
Love. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Period.
Okay, amazing. My third and final actually kind of relates well to what we were just talking about. Being comfortable touching yourself and all of that. So we'll go back to my big umbrella tip. Do everything focused on pleasure. Find the pleasure in everything. Make things feel good, right? That's a sentence we say a lot in class.
Yeah.
Make it feel good. Make it feel good for you, whatever that means. We didn't even plan that. Can you tell that me and Kira are just like constantly together? Yes, make it feel good. So obviously in dance, this will mean something like modifying a move to your needs, doing what feels right and authentic to you in the moment, but take it outside of a dance context, and it means finding those moments where you can sort of romanticize your life, where you can take a sec for yourself, going into that self-care moment. Basically just accepting the fact that you are a physical being, which means you have physical needs and you want to experience physical pleasure. And physical pleasure can mean so many things, right? Like, I feel like you think about like giving yourself pleasure, and the immediate, sort of thought there is going into masturbation and all of that, which we could literally do a full episode on that too, I'm sure. But it can mean so many other things as well. So I think that that's really important. I also think that, like you said, just being comfortable touching your skin, or like giving yourself a hug, or I love that you said the head scratch, because one thing that I had on here was like, take a shower and turn the lights off and light a candle and really pay attention to like what it feels like to wash your hair, and like the heat of the water on your skin and the way that your fingers feel in your hair.
Things.
Pay attention to the little things and use those little things to make yourself feel good. Like, not everything, it doesn't have to be, it can be going through the motions, right? We're in a busy world. We got lots of things to do. You're getting ready. You're in a rush in the morning, whatever. I understand. But if you're trying to bring out that feminine energy, and we're just talking about tools you can do to use it, I think that feeling pleasure is a really helpful avenue, because pleasure is such an important part of the feminine energy. And again, goes back to the softness, the juiciness, all of that. Pleasure is a huge part of that. So, and I don't know about you, but when I like see a woman who is like a stunning, radiant goddess, just like walking, being herself, like you can tell that she's just sitting in her wholeness and her pleasure, and like
The energy she creates is magnetic.
Exactly, magnetic energy. And I think you can create that by giving yourself pleasure. And you don't need to wait for someone else to give you pleasure, whether that's in a sexual sense, whether that's
Let's put a period there. That is a sentence that needs to be said more. I think you should repeat that.
Don't need to wait for someone else to bring you pleasure, okay? You can give it to yourself. You should give it to yourself. Even if you have a partner, even if you have someone that does give you pleasure, you need to give it to yourself. You're the only constant that's ever going to be in your life, whether you like it or not. Like, I'm sure there are so many people in the most amazing, loving relationships like Kira here, okay, which is incredible. But Kira also knows how to give herself what she needs, right? Like, you can fill your own cup up first.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. And I, being single right now, like, obviously, eventually I want partnership, but I feel so happy and confident with myself, knowing that if it were just me, we'd be Gucci, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and delude you. I am enough. I'm not going to sit here and delude you to think like, I don't need a relationship. I don't want a relationship. No, I want a relationship eventually, but it's because it will be adding to my life in a way that is fun and exciting and adventurous, and, building a life or partnership with someone and being able to give them pleasure. And sure, they give me pleasure, but like, I know that I can do that for myself. And I do that for myself in every single moment that I can, right?
Yes, that was so beautifully said.
Yes. So this comes down to, like I said, feeling all the sensations, feeling yourself. I feel like, touching your body is a super important element of this. but also finding those moments to go on a hot girl walk, like Kira said, like just do the things that make you happy, wear perfume that you think smells good, do all the girly things that make you feel like I'm a woman and I'm so glad to be a woman, you know? Or if you're not a girly girl and you don't like those things, like whatever it is that makes you feel pleasure. I feel like we have this tendency, especially if you're like a spiritual person or whatever, to be like, I'm in search of enlightenment, or I shouldn't want material things, or I shouldn't want physical things. And yeah, like I said, going back to my first point, we are physical beings. We're gonna want physical things, and we have every right to want them, right? Like you're gonna experience pain and loss and grief and suffering, and you have every right to experience love and pleasure and joy, and you can experience all those things yourself without someone else.
And branching off of pleasure, let's talk about play.
Ooh.
Come hand in hand a little bit. And I think a way to tap into your feminine energy is, in basic words, go have some fun. You are never too old to stop playing. Even if you want to do something that, tap into your inner child. If you loved to color as a kid, buy yourself an adult coloring book or a children's coloring book, doesn't matter. They're all fun. And go color, or go on a picnic with your girlfriends and go paint. Do things that used to be so much fun as a kid, and you can still do them now. There's no age limit to having fun, and we need to be more open. I think a lot of people need to be more open about just trying new things and exploring new options, and like, let's go roller skate at the roller skating rink that we did as a kid. Like little things like that. Like, just try it and just branch out of your comfort zone.
I love that. Yeah, like letting your inner child out. And I love what you said about what were the things that were fun when you were a kid, because that has been the biggest guiding thing for me in life, just figuring out my life's purpose, because I realized, oh my gosh, when I was a kid, all I did was dance. I wanted to make up dances. I wanted to do all these things. And like, when I realized that was what I was doing, I wasn't getting paid for it. I wasn't like, it was just, I was genuinely doing it because I wanted to do it. What is that thing for you, right? For me and Kira, it's obviously dance, but it doesn't have to be dance. It can be painting. It can be something artistic. It can be soccer. If you like loved soccer when you were a kid and you haven't found yourself playing soccer as an adult, like go join a rec league. You know what I mean? Yeah. There are ways to tap back into that creative energy that I think goes really well with the feminine energy as well. Like letting yourself be free to get out of this box that we make for ourselves, right? Like we have our jobs and we have our definition of who we are now, and it just keeps us too
confined,
exactly.
Yeah.
Like we need to break the patterns, and I think play is a great way to break patterns. Like do something you wouldn't normally do, right? Yeah. So like I was actually just thinking about this. Now, even though dance is a form of play for me, it's also work. So like what else can I do to get out of my patterns or do something that's creative or whatever? Like I was just thinking I'll go buy wine glasses from Goodwill and paint cute little patterns on them. You know what I mean?
Can
like
I join you?
Yes.
That's so cute.
Yes. Like what can you do that's just a little bit outside of the norm that is like a fun, pleasure-filled activity that gets the creative juices flowing a little bit? Also, that's like, more of an adult activity now as well. And I think people are better about that. But what can you do that's just so ridiculous that makes you feel like I am a child right now? And it's so stupid to say, but like literally like
example.
No, like splashing around in a puddle or going and laying in the street when it's raining, just like those things that are so socially not acceptable at this point. What were you thinking?
And I was literally going to say, go play games in the pool or like in the ocean,
go
like
play
colors.
Mermaids.
Yes. But like, there's so much fun. Like I would play colors, sharks and minnows, like so many. I don't know what, it's different every state. I grew up in Pennsylvania, so I know like when I came to California they called it different things.
No, I think that will resonate with people.
There's so many games that are so much fun. Like who cares how old you are, just go play them.
Go play a game with some friends. Or like if you have those like thoughts that are like, what if I just did this right now?
Your intrusive thoughts?
Intrusive thoughts? Okay, not
unless
the bad
they're not
ones,
like that.
Not the bad ones.
The good ones.
The good ones that are like, what if I just screamed I love you right now at a
Or like
random
jumped
stranger
on my
walking-
bed.
Or yeah, what if I just jumped? I love that.
Yeah.
What if I just jumped on my bed right now? What if I just like, yeah, those just like, that would be stupid thoughts. But like, do
Who
it.
cares? He would make you smile, would give you pleasure and play.
Yeah, just make your life a freaking movie.
Yes.
Like-
romanticize your life. That is a whole other thing.
That's a great tip.
Like, yeah, that's a phenomenal tip. Like, I'm a huge book reader, and I'd be reading books, and I would always be like, I want my life to be like a movie, basically, or like a fairy tale in a book. And obviously, our lives are not gonna be fairy tales. But I'm reading about a girl sitting at the coffee shop alone, drinking her coffee, and someone walks up to her and starts flirting with her. Or she's like on her laptop just working, and I'm like, I could go do that.
Yes.
I could go right now. I could go get coffee downtown and live that life. We were driving here today, and we said it's like a whole different life down here, and having an office job down here. Like, we could just romanticize our life. Like, who cares?
Yes, and you can do all of that. Like, I think people look at other people's lives and are like, oh, that would be cool. And think of what you can do now in this moment to be living that dream life that you want, right?
Yeah.
Like, now we're just going off life advice, but I feel like it all is relatable and it goes hand in hand. But yeah, if you see something that someone's doing where you're like, wow, that's really like wonderful. Like that's your body, your mind, your everything, your soul telling you that that's something that would feed you. Like follow that and do that. And
Listen to your gut and your intuition. Listen to your body. It tells you things.
listen to your gut and your intuition, and also start acting. Like start taking that aligned action that will let you start living a life as close to your dream life as you want right now, right? So like an example of this is when I was kind of thinking about what's the type of life that I want in like 5-10 years from now, whatever. One of the things that came to my mind was it would be nice to have like a beautiful house. I don't really know where yet, but a beautiful house with a partner, a committed partnership, a dog, and a veggie garden, right? Like those are the things that I'm like, God, that's my dream. And I like, can visualize it and want to manifest and whatever. And I came out of that and I was like, I can do most of that right now. Like, I'm not going to buy a house right now. I can't really control partnership. I can put myself out there, but like what comes will come. I can get a dog. Absolutely. I can get a dog. I don't need to wait for a partner to get a dog. I can have a veggie garden. Like, what are I live in a studio apartment downtown.
I was going to say, do you have a veggie garden?
I got a veggie garden. Yes.
I love that.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, what are those small things that you can do in whatever capacity you can currently do them in to start living that life early? So I have a little raised bed just on my balcony in my studio apartment downtown with
so cute.
all the veggies, and I adopted a puppy, and I'm living that life again without waiting for something to happen to me, right? Without waiting for a man to come scoop me
you
up
off your
and,
feet.
Yeah, and like
Tell you how
say he
beautiful
wants
you
to
are.
buy
You
me
tell
a house.
yourself you're beautiful.
Yes, exactly. And it sounds so silly and so obvious, but I think that as soon as you can start taking action to get yourself there, the more the right things will start flowing into your life as they should. And again, if we're getting back into the topic of feminine energy, the feminine energy as opposed to the masculine energy is about letting things come to you, right? About being magnetic. Masculine is about go, 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 get, do, do. The feminine energy, sorry, I'm so immature. The feminine energy is about receive, know that you are inherently deserving of all of these things that are going to come your way because you know you're deserving. So take the action on the things that you can and the things that you want to, and know that the rest is going to come to you and fall into place, right?
Yes. I also think it's a good sentence to say, if something can happen to somebody else, why can't it happen to you? There's like this stereotypical saying, oh my God. There's a queen in every room. Why can't it be you? I can't believe that took me so long to think of
I've
that.
never heard of that.
Yeah. What? Really?
think so.
That's like a saying, or at least I thought it was my whole life. I don't know.
Kira, you just made it up just now.
Oh my gosh. Dash Kira Harris.
She's a philosopher.
But yeah, it's like you look at somebody else and you see them with this beautiful energy or this romanticizing their life, doing things that they love to do, and people think badly about themselves or they question things happening in their life. But like, that can be you. That is you. You just need to believe it. Go stare in the mirror and tell yourself you're a queen, you're beautiful, everything, etc., etc. Tap into the feminine energy and the world will do its thing.
I love it. That's super helpful to find someone else that has the things that you want and realize that you're not that different from them, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe you can learn about them or their story or find whatever you relate to them about and realize that if they did it, you can do it. Like when I was starting Madhouse, when I knew I wanted to launch the business, I listened to endless business podcasts from founders that started all sorts of different companies. And you hear about their stories, right? And you like learn who they were and that they're just a human too. And they did this and they created this movement and they whatever. And that
Like
was
us starting
so,
this podcast.
right. It was so expansive for me to be like, they're not this superhero on this crazy pedestal, right? They're amazing people and they did great things, but they started not knowing what they were doing and they figured it out along the way, right? So that's totally an
As you
example
do
of
with
that.
life.
As well as like jealousy. If you find yourself jealous of someone, similar to the way we were talking about fear, how that can guide you into what you want. Jealousy is also a really great way to look at the things that you want and what is your soul guiding you to, right? So if like you're jealous of someone, use
like, why is
that as
that
a
making you
tool.
jealous?
Why is that making you jealous? And does it really need to? Because what can you do to go and start, bringing that into your life now?
Yeah.
But I love that. And I want to do a little plug because we're talking a lot about, I feel like this word is a little bit iffy for some people, but to me, this is a lot about manifestation. And I'm no manifestation expert or anything, but I do a lot of manifestation work and meditations and stuff. I really like it. I geek out on it. I am by no means in a place to talk as an expert about it. But if anyone is curious to dive deeper into that, I love To Be Magnetic is a really, really great company that they have online workshops and basically they call them deep imaginings. Like it's like they're basically guided meditations, right? But you drop into a sort of hypnotic state and you work through whatever it is you need to work through, like shadow work, inner child work, any trauma. You basically kind of reprogram your subconscious mind. So it's backed by neuroscience as well. And the whole thing is about attracting the experiences and the things in life that you want based on raising your self-worth. And I feel like that is kind of a lot about what we're talking about. And part of the reason I brought it up is part of the process is expanding your subconscious mind, right? So expanding and looking at that person has it, that means I can have it, right? That person did this, that like, who are the people that inspire you and how can you realize that you can do it too, because they can. So that was just a quick little reference to a different resource because again, it's not my stuff to talk about. They are really great at it. To Be Magnetic, if anyone wants to dive deeper into manifestation, if that's not your thing, no worries, but check it out because I love it. And that's one of the things that has really helped me raise my self-worth. And I've been doing it for years and just like tap into my feminine energy as well.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah. Do you do manifestation stuff?
Not like when I had my stages of a lot of like my words of affirmation and my breathing exercises when I was just a little down in the dumps at one point. I like dabbled in it. I hate that word. It's such a weird word.
Oh, it's not a weird word.
It's just like it, like
Dabble.
moist makes people
But,
uncomfortable.
yeah.
Dabbled makes me uncomfortable.
Neither of those makes me uncomfortable. You can say it all you want.
Great. Well,
I dabbled moistly
I didn't.
in it.
Yeah, I did. Oh, God. Well, moist doesn't affect me, but I would do like little exercises that I've just read about online and things, but I didn't read a book or anything.
Well, the thing is, you really embody it, right? Like everything that we're talking about is what it is. It's just a little bit more of like a guided way to go about all of it. And I think it's helpful for people that need really actionable steps and want to be really like, want to have their hand held through the process, which I know I did, But yeah, if you like, I feel like you are just naturally sort of, all these things. And a lot of people do, right? So find what works for you. But yeah. I love it. I hope that was helpful. I hope that these sort of tips can...
Should we do
affect-
a recap what step 1 was?
Okay. Step 1. Dance in the mirror, baby.
Yeah.
Feel yourself. Get confident with it. Do those affirmations. All that good stuff.
Step 2, be okay receiving compliments from other people as well as yourself.
And sit in it and bask in it, baby. 3, move your hips and soften your belly. Take those deep breaths. Unbutton those pants, baby girl.
4, the huge umbrella of self-care, whatever that means for you. Journal, meditating, walks, put on a nice outfit, hang out with women, etc.
Love. 5, do everything focused on pleasure. Sink into it.
And 6, do lots of things focused with play, whatever that means for you. Let your
Pleasure
inner
and
child
play.
out.
Ooh, I love it. All right. I mean, I love it. I hope that's helpful. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thanks, friends.
Let us know if there's anything you want us to dive deeper into, any other topics you want us to discuss, because we could talk all day. We're happy
We really
to.
could. We really could.
All right. Thank you. Go shake your ass a little bit.
Let it jiggle.
Hey.
Hands on my knees, hands on my knees, hands on my knees, shaking ass on my thigh shape. Hands on my